Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to cover Kha'Zix Jungle in our Season 6 Patch 6.13 guide.
Change is good.
Kha'Zix is an assassin jungler that really excels at picking off single targets that are out of position. His kit really gives him some massive single target damage and some great mobility, which is why he excels in the assassin role. Now, although this is by far his best role, he can still excel at a lot of other things which some people do not realize. He's still fantastic at peeling, fighting, disrupting, and he can even tank if he goes for that type of build. Generally, you want to be the assassin, but this may just not be possible. Generally speaking, he's a very squishy champion who's very vulnerable to CC. Since he usually relies on being able to delete targets, he's pretty bad if he is behind, since he can't actually do so. All he's got is slows, he doesn't have a hard CC, so if he's trying to fight a target that can actually outdamage him, well, he's gonna friggin' lose that fight. Pink wards and champions with reveal are also one of Kha'Zix's biggest threat. With an ultimate that can be popped 3 times if evolved for a short stealth duration, well, this kinda gets negated if there is reveals, which can really piss a Kha'Zix player off. He's still by far one of the funnest champions to play, and if he does get ahead, oh man can he do a lot in fights. I'm sure we've all seen the Kha'Zix that just jumps target to target, quickly deleting each one he lands on, and man, it's fun to be that Kha'Zix. For our Masteries, we go 12 Ferocity and 18 Cunning, grabbing either Thunderlord's Decree or Storm Raider's Surge as our Keystone Mastery. Thunderlord's Decree is a great pickup because it's really easy to combo on him and get those 3 attacks off, and this just adds a nice portion of damage so you can get kills a little bit easier for your resets. Storm Raider's Surge, well, this is the one you grab if you'd like just some increased mobility. Dealing 30% of a champion's health on Kha'Zix in 2.5 seconds is insanely easy to do, and it gives you 40% movement speed and 75% slow resistance for 3 seconds afterward. Now this is fantastic on Kha'Zix for moving around in team fights, but I still do prefer Thunderlord's Decree for actually getting the resets on the leap. If you can get the reset from your Thunderlord's Decree, then Storm Raider's Surge is kind of not important at all, since you can just reset your leap and jump to the next target. For our runes, we take attack damage reds, armor yellows, magic resist blues, and attack damage quints. Now because of Kha'Zix's kit, the attack damage is actually better than the usual attack speed on junglers, which is why there's attack damage listed. You could also get cooldown reduction blues if you didn't get enough cooldown reduction in your actual build. I, however, do, which is why I take the magic resist blues. For our summoners, we of course take Flash and Smite. Smite is always needed on junglers. This allows you to get through your actual jungle, and to even buy your jungle item in the first place. Smite will also allow you to secure Baron and Dragon, and you can even use it offensively, making it just a great summoner pickup. Flash, well, you pretty much always have to take Flash. It's great for escaping since Kha'Zix is rather squishy, and you can do it to flash forward, getting you some kills. So now we're going to look at each of his abilities, starting with his passive, which is called Unseen Threat. Now this is an empowered auto attack that actually slows the target and deals magic damage, but it only reactivates when they do lose sight of you. So this means you can get it to come back up by either walking into a brush, using your Void Assault, which is your ultimate, or by simply just going into Fog of War. Now this isn't incredible damage, and it is based off of AP, and obviously we don't get any AP, but still it is added base damage, which is nice, so you have to use it effectively. The easiest way to do it is by using your ultimate, so they lose vision of you since you go in stealth. If it is evolved, you can do this 3 times and add a ton of damage onto your basic attacks. Next is your Q, Taste Their Fear, and this is your bread and butter ability. This adds a ton of damage, and you pretty much just want to use it whenever the hell you can. This is an ability that does a lot of single target damage. This is then amplified by 30% if the target is isolated, which means, of course, they are by themselves. The evolved form then adds a bit of range onto his basic attacks and adds a ton of damage. Now I personally always evolve this one first, but Leap is also a great one if you want just the increased leap range. Kha'Zix's W is called Void Spike, and it's his main poking tool. It's a decent range poke that also provides some pretty nice sustain in the jungle. You want to max this one second right behind your Q, since it does provide some nice damage and some great sustain. As for the evolved form, well, it shoots out a cone of 3 different spikes, and the slow strength actually goes up as well. Sounds pretty nice, but you always have to make sure your Q and your E are evolved first, and then you might want to take this one third, but your ultimate is pretty good for third as well. Unfortunately, you only get to evolve 3 of your 4 abilities unless you kill a Rengar, and there's not usually a Rengar in your game. In most cases, I do like to grab the ultimate evolve third, so I don't usually get the W evolve, but I do sometimes. It kind of depends on the team comp, and we will discuss that later. Your E is called Leap, and it's your main gap closer / escape tool. Leap very simply goes to the spot you click and does a little area of effect damage wherever he lands. The evolved form is actually really nice since it does increase the jump length by quite a bit, and it allows your leap to be reset off a cooldown when you get a kill or assist. This evolve is what allows the Kha'Zix to jump target to target, like I'm sure you've all seen, deleting people as he lands. One thing that really sets apart a new and pro Kha'Zix player is knowing when the hell he wants to actually leap. You want to actually use it when you know you can get a reset on the ability. If you jump into a team fight and you can't get a kill, well, you're gonna die really fucking quickly. So you want to max this skill last, but you do want to evolve it either first or second. I usually do it second. Kha'Zix's ultimate is called Void Assault, and it's pretty much just a utility tool. It doesn't add any actual damage itself, but it will make your passive come off cooldown, which in return kind of adds damage with your ultimate. Since it is a short duration stealth, you can use this to juke, outplay, or dodge skill shots. It does only last 1 second, but when you do evolve it, you go from 2 to 3 uses, and the duration goes from 1 to 2 seconds. Since Kha'Zix is a rather squishy champion, this is what allows you to move around in teamfights without actually getting deleted instantly. For the ability order, you of course take your ultimate Void Assault whenever you can, since you get to evolve. You then move into your Q, Taste Their Fear, since it does have an incredible amount of single target DPS. You then move into your W, Void Spike, for the nice sustain, damage, and poke it provides. Last is your Leap. You only get 1 early point in this ability, so you can actually close gaps or escape from champions. For the evolution order, you get either Q, Taste Their Fear, or E, Leap first. You then, of course, get the other one second. If you need the extra added damage, take your Q. If you're against a lot of champions like Xerath and shit that are pretty far away, you may want to evolve your leap first since you can actually get on top of that target. Your basic leap range isn't that long at all, and you pretty much need it evolved if you are getting onto those long range champions. For the third spot, we then of course either take Void Assault or Void Spike since, those are the 2 left. If you need the extra stealth for some more assassination potential, take the Void Assault, and if you need some extra poke or disengage, take the Void Spike. Your main damage combo is using your Void Spike from range, leaping onto your target, using Taste Their Fear in midair, because it does proc when you land, and then auto-attacking with the Unseen Threat passive. Now keep in mind, this is just your main combo. There are, items you might want to activate, like you may want to use your Yomus right after you use your Void Spike. You could use your Ravenous Hydra right after Taste Their Fear after you do land. It can get more complex. You also only want to leap onto the target if you know they don't have like a flash or a dash or something like that. You don't want to leap onto Lucian just to have him dash away and possibly flash. Against a target like that, make sure you are actually saving your leap to get onto the target after they try to escape. So using Unseen Threat properly is actually a big part of Kha'Zix as well. The passive can add a ton of damage and a nice slow, which is why it's so important. So once you use your passive auto attack, you can then cast your ultimate once, so you refresh the passive, attack again, and then go back into stealth with your ultimate a second time and attack again. You can of course do this an extra time if you have evolved your ultimate. You then want to make sure you are using your Q, since, the single target damage is insane, between your attacks as well. When you are repeating this, people are losing vision of you over and over again, so they can't actually bring you down, and you're doing as much damage as possible. You can also use this to reposition onto a better target when you are mid-team fight. The next important mechanic on Kha'Zix is resetting your jump. This is really simple to do as long as your target is really low health. It's then even easier if they're also isolated. Now when you get a kill or assist like we've talked about before, your leap will reset. So on a really low target, your combo can be as simple as leaping onto them and using your Q. You can then use your second leap to simply jump away or go on to the next target. Insanely simple mechanic to do, it's just really important, so I thought I'd include it. The last mechanic I wanted to talk about was some Void Assault outplay. This is honestly one of the funnest ultimates in the whole game, and it's just insane for being able to outplay people. When you're going into stealth over and over again, you can take all sorts of different unpredictable patterns and just completely juke the shit out of people. It's also great to delay fights, like say the enemy is going on Dragon and they know a Kha'Zix is around and they don't want to commit to it too much. Keep activating your ultimate and let your team get to the fight. Next for you guys, I've got a couple little jungler tips. First up is your objective control, and you pretty much want to try to get down the outer towers as soon as possible so you can roam around a little bit easier. When they're down, you're able to use all sorts of different ganking paths that they may not be used to so early on, and it can land you so many kills. Kha'Zix is really good for early dragons since he does have such high single target DPS. You pretty much just want to make sure it's kind of counter-warded. You can ask for, help from your bot lane or mid lane and take an easy dragon. As for ganking, well, he's easily one of the best ganking junglers in the game since he has such a strong kit and he does so much single target damage. Now don't use your leap too much, honestly. It's a great ability, but you want to usually save it for when an enemy tries to escape from you so you can close that gap. You have two great slows in your kit, both your passive unseen threat and your void spike. If the lane you're ganking for is going to CC somebody anyways, just simply walk up, slow them, get the kill, and if they try to flash away, close the gap, and kill them anyways. As for counter jungling and invading, well, Kha'Zix is one of the best at it. Once again, it's pretty much just due to his kit and the high single target damage he has. Most junglers can't actually 1v1 you, and even if they start to or do get help, you can leap over a wall and escape anyways. With that high single target damage, you can also counter jungle, just taking extra camps from the jungler and keeping his level down. You are a great 1v1 champion, so make sure you do take advantage of this. Teamfighting on Kha'Zix is something a lot of people do struggle on, and it's pretty much because you have to be very patient in those teamfights. Now if you do go in, and you're not able to get that reset early on, you're dead. You want to try to get onto a squishy champion that is isolated if it's possible, usually it's not, and then get that reset since you'll be able to delete that target. Now before you go in, you have to pay attention to the crowd control that has been used on the enemy team. Once again, if you jump in and a Maokai simply roots you, you're dead. The best part about Kha'Zix though is he's able to choose when he wants to fight and where. If you know you're going to jump in and just simply die anyways, just don't jump in, man. Go to a side lane, push it, or take a dragon. It's not worth jumping in and dying. Regardless if your whole team's gonna yell at you and call you the biggest piece of shit they've seen in the whole fucking day. It's League of Legends. Everybody hates everybody, no matter what you do. Alright, so we've covered a lot. Let's finish this one off with the item build. First you want to get a Hunter's Talisman, refillable potion, and a warding totem. You then first want to get a Stalker's Blade, enchanted with Warrior, since this is the best option on Kha'Zix. You need all that attack damage. Now both the Tracker's Knife and Skirmisher's Saber are great on Kha'Zix as well, but I do prefer the slow I get from the Smite. Since he's a champion that relies on mobility, well, we get Boots of Swiftness so we can move around quicker and delete more people. For the same reason and some nice attack damage, activate, and all sorts of other crap, we grab the Yumu's Ghost Blade. We generally want to activate this early on so we get that mobility so we can start deleting targets and jumping around. When you're level 9, make sure you grab the Oracle Alteration so you can get rid of wards so they can't see you coming for ganks. We then want to grab some armor penetration since we really need to get through that armor so we can delete targets. My personal favorite for the 20% cooldown reduction is the Black Cleaver, and it really helps your team shred armor as well. For the other alternatives for armor penetration, you could get the LDR for pure damage or the Mortal Reminder for that grievous wounds. We then want to make sure we grab some lifesteal, and my favorite is Death's Dance. I really do like the passive and everything else it provides. Ravenous Hydra is then my second favorite since it does have a really nice activate which does allow you to delete targets just a little bit easier. Mercurial Scimitar is then a fantastic pickup as well if you do need to break a bunch of CCs that the enemy team has. And last up, if you're just looking for some pure damage, the Bloodthirster is a pretty fine item since it adds a nice little shield on you as well, making you just a bit tankier. So for the example full build, we of course grab our core and then add an armor penetration item, lifesteal item, and I do like to get one defensive item as well. This results in the Warrior Enchanted Stalker's Blade, Boots of Swiftness, Yumu's Ghost Blade, the Black Cleaver, Death's Dance, and a Maw. Two great defensive options are the Sterax Gauge for the other shield it does provide, and the Guardian Angel if you want to come back to life. Duskblade is a really nice item as well on Kha'Zix if you are looking for the little Z-ult type of thing it does provide. It also gives you a bunch of attack damage and 5% movement speed, making it a pretty decent assassin item. The new Trinity Force is pretty nice on Kha'Zix as well, and it's great if you do need some cooldown reduction if you did replace some other items. Dead Man's Plate is then great if you're looking to get a little bit tankier and you need some armor, and Infinity Edge is good if you want just pure damage. So that pretty much covers it for our Kha'Zix jungle guide in 6.13. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful. I included everything I could think of on Kha'Zix, and hopefully it helped you guys out. He's a great ganking jungler, and he's definitely worth picking up. If you guys did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe, and if you guys would like more of our guides, you can go to our website, www.egamingtv.com. We also do skin giveaways on our Twitter, which is at egaming_TV, so if you're interested in chances at winning free skins, please head over to Twitter and send us a follow. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.